Hi, welcome to Expert Data Engineer. Today we are going to see what are all the building blocks in the data engineering lifecycle, what all technologies and tools that you can use and become a data engineer. This video is very relevant to the people who are starting newly in the data engineering field or have spent some time in the data engineering. This is also very relevant video for people who are coming into the data engineering role from some other roles. So people who want to understand like what is the data engineering process, what exactly somebody who is into data engineering needs to do, and this is for them. So let's begin with this video, and I hope that you will like this video. I hope that this video will be very informative for you and you will begin and become a expert data engineer. So data sources, first of all, data sources. What are data sources? Now if you look at a company which could be a tech company or a manufacturing company or somebody who is doing some kind of production or something, or they are selling any services or something, they generate the data. So they have these different kind of systems which generates the data. So for example, there is a manufacturing company which has their plant, and they have this incoming materials, and they are manufacturing something, and they have this outgoing materials. So they will have data about what is being purchased in the purchase department, what is there available in the inventory, and like what's already being built. And on top of this material data, they will also have data about their employees, their accounts, their payments, salaries, and everything. They also would have data about their customers, like who are their customers, what are their geographical location, or so n number of information could also associate with the customer, employee, inventory, product, marketing, everything. So you will understand that this company will grow this data day by day. Every day there will be new data. Now there is a chance that even being a single company, there are multiple sources or there are multiple destinations at the moment where they are storing this data. So they have a CRM system where they have the customer data. They might have a sales portal where they have the sales data, let's say. They have, let's say, inventory management software or some kind of portal where they have this inventory data. And they can have some other sources. So for example, they have some third party data, like some CSV files, some Excel sheets, and stuff like that. Now these all are called data sources. Now once that company decides that they want to bring some valuable information out of their data, the first thing that comes in the mind is to collect this data at one place. Now that one place is generally can be named as data warehouse or data lake or some kind of a central system. So there are two fundamental components to store this data into a single place. So one is data warehouse, and one is data lake house. Now so there is a slight difference between these two, so we'll definitely talk about this talk about so there is a slight difference between these two terms, which we'll definitely discuss in our future videos. But for this, let's understand that there is a central system which holds the entire data. Now, as a data engineer, what we need to do is to pull this data from these sources, that could be external sources or residing on your company's own infrastructure. So you have to move this data to this central system, and that is called data ingestion. Okay, and you will have different tools which can does which so you will have these different tools which can do this data ingestion for you, or you can also write small programs to do this data copy or upsert. Now you will have different tools that will do the ETL for you. So ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Now what extract means is to load, to basically fetch the data from a source, okay, and then do some transformation. So T stands for transformation, do some changes, some aggregation, some modification, some normalization, something, and then you load back, so that the cleaned data or the processed data, the transformed data, you would like to save it into some destination, so that is called loading. Now once your this data lake or your center system will have this entire data that is now readily available for either business team or the reporting teams or any third party integrations available, so that they can fetch this. Now there is one more component which is called orchestration, and in orchestration basically you will have this system which takes care of all these activities. So like when to load the data, when to move the data, when to run a transformation job or stuff like that. So basically it's an orchestration. It keeps eye on like what needs to be done when, right? So there's a scheduler in between, so you will also understand different kind of orchestration tools. Let's move to like the technology stack that somebody have to learn, and it is pretty simple. When you are beginning, there is not much needed. You can begin very easily. So first thing is obviously SQL. SQL is a very important technology, or I would say skill, because you most of the time you will be either fetching some data, reading some data, trying to understand what is inside that data, the table structure, stuff like that. And once you do the transformation, you might also want to verify like what exactly data is stored, or let's say you want to try some joins or some kind of data manipulation beforehand. So you would definitely use SQL a lot. In the SQL also focus more on DQL side, so query language of course, where you will see different ways to fetch the data with different filters, joins and operations like that. So SQL is the beginning and the starting point. Later I would suggest to learn Python. There are multiple options here, but there is no better option than Python. I would not suggest anything else. So Python is the way to go. Once you have the skill for Python, you will understand that you can do a lot of stuff stuff very easily. And in the transformation, there are a lot of tools which use Python or some form of Python, or any scripting language where you can write this transformation. So Python is an important one. Second thing to learn is Python. So currently in the entire data engineering uh, zone or domain, cloud computing is very important. Now why it is important? Because obviously we are talking about the big data, and once the data is huge, nobody can manage it locally, so definitely they would go for some or other cloud provider. So let's say some company is on AWS or Azure, GCP. So you have to understand like what these cloud computing platforms are, what their services for. So you have to understand what service they are offering for data ingestion, let's say, or what service they are offering for orchestration, what service they are offering for data lakehouse, what service they could be offering for ETL, right? And visualization or ML/AI. So understanding the services related to big data domain from different cloud providers is important. Learning about data warehouse is important, because if you are working on a smaller company where there is a simple type of data, or let's say tabular data, most of the time you will be implementing a data warehouse. So there are so many data warehouses, and actually there is a blend of data warehouse plus data lake also. So Snowflake, Synapse, this also provides a data warehouse system inbuilt. So go and learn about them. Data lakehouse. So as we said, data warehouse is basically slight different, while the data lakehouse is a bit different thing. So we'll definitely cover that in the next videos. But for here, I can tell you that the data lakehouse is much more capable of storing different types of data, let's say image, video, audio, or some other kind of data, while data warehouse is mostly focused on tabular data. So in the data lakehouse, you will mostly hear about Databricks, BigQuery, stuff like that. And then need to learn about what is ETL, what is ELT. So there's a small difference, like you do the transformation after load and before load, right? So there's a slight difference between ETL and ELT. So transformation done before load is ETL, and the transformation done after load is ELT. So there's a slight difference, and there are so many tools which are ETL tools or ELT tools. So learn about them. Here, Apache Spark is a good point to start with, and Fivetron is an ingestion service which is very famous, and it is, I think it is a good one. It has a lot of features to do small transformations. So it's basically an ELT tool actually. And Airbyte is also one option. ADF is basically from Azure. It's called Azure Data Factory. Okay, so while we cover all the technologies, let's say SQL, Python, data warehouse, stuff like that, the most important aspect of becoming a data engineer is to hustle for a side project. Try to implement something your own, because there is a chance that you will not get enough opportunity to work on a live project, let's say, or would not have exposure to the entire life cycle of the data engineering project. So it's always better to have a side project and do your own all your R&D and learning stuff on that. So try to pick one use case, try to do it your own. You can create an account on any AWS, Azure, or any cloud provider freely, and you can try that. So the next thing, and again very important thing, would be to have a peer feedback. It is always important because you will understand different perspectives, like who is doing what, or what kind of problems they are facing, or what kind of tasks that they are doing. So you might also create this understanding, okay, this is the way to deal with this situation. So always keep talking about what you're doing, and keep trying to get a feedback about your understanding from your peers. So that's very important. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. This was very beginning of our channel. So please subscribe to this channel. I will definitely come up with more videos which will help us to become a data engineer and ultimately become an expert data engineer. Thank you very much.